Good morning, everybody. Hope you are all doing well. Welcome to the Faith and Fandom Feedback Friday podcast for January 2nd, 2026, kicking off the new year. Uh, Hope you're doing well. I know we're all kind of in that weird stage of holiday aftermath of not knowing what day it is and what our existence looks like or anything like that. We're kind of in that place in between all the holidays where you probably watched a lot of TV or played a lot of games or hung out in ways, but haven't known exactly what you're doing with your life. So don't worry, things will get back to normal, but I don't know if that's a good thing either. But either way, hope you're doing great. Little bit of news today, not a ton, just because everybody has really been breathing and enjoying life, hopefully. But we'll jump right into it. Sorry for not being on sooner. My daughter had an optometrist appointment, and I have to adult sometimes. So just kind of how things are. But yeah, let's get right into it. One of the first news pieces this morning is Ashley Eckstein or Stein, who is the voice actress for Ahsoka from the Star Wars animated series, Clone Wars, Rebels, etc., etc. Also voiced Ahsoka in uh, Rise of Skywalker. Uh, Posted some scripture this morning, um, sharing that it gave her hope when she had basically kind of run out of it or needed it. And um, it's listen, celebrities posting scripture is not always a big deal, but for the Star Wars fandom, that's a big deal because there's not many people as big in the Star Wars family as Ashley, and so it makes a big deal for her doing it. And some of my friends were pretty excited about it this morning. Ashley from Fangirling Over Jesus sent it to me, pretty excited, and so I've seen several other of you excited about it. So that's just cool. You can check my Instagram reposts and everything for that if you want to see it, or just go to her stuff and see it. Make sure you like it, love it, share it, do all the things. But yeah, that happened and that was cool. If you weren't aware, one of the final Marvel live action TV series, not the final, but one of the final Marvel live action TV series that ties into the MCU will be kicking off this month in a couple weeks. January 27th, an 8 episode Marvel event called Wonder Man will be taking place. And much like Ironheart, it's barely gotten any press or any buzz or any advertisements. Yeah. So if you know who Wonder Man is, or you care, or you just enjoy good acting, you might want to check this out. Also, this will be the return of Ben Kingsley. I'm gonna say his name wrong, but the dude who was in uh I think it's Ben Kingsley is his name. I can't use all my devices to Google him. But the guy who is in Iron Man 3 and also in Shang-Chi. But he's the guy who pretended to be the Mandarin. He was an actor, but so he's going to be in Iron Wonder Man as well. And fun little nerd trivia fact: Wonder Man technically has already been portrayed in the MCU, but then was cut from the MCU uh, because he was originally a special feature or an Easter egg in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, where he was portrayed by Nathan Fillion. In Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, when Ego's gelatinous form is taking over planets, uh, there's a poster that features Nathan Fillion as Wonder Man in one of the towns that's getting overrun, but it was cut because they thought they might use Wonder Man later when Nathan Fillion might be doing something else. Good morning, Anna. Uh, so yeah, that's pretty cool. Wonder Man drops January 27th. Good morning, Megan. Good morning, Kelly. How you doing, bro? Let's see. Back to our news. A neat news thing that happened this week is the CEO or former CEO of the company Firebond sold his company for several million dollars. Um, he sold his company for 1.7 billion dollars. 1.7 billion. He sold the company Firebond. Then he gave all 540 full-time employees a six-figure bonus check for Christmas after selling his company. That came up to a total of $240 million that he gave away. So, roughly 12% of what he sold his company for, not including all the money he's going to pay out in taxes. But every full-time worker for Firebond ended up with a $444,000 bonus that will be spread out over 5 years. So it pays to be faithful in what you do. And congratulations to somebody showing that type of generosity, because not every company is going to do that for you. Um, yeah, that's just pretty neat. And sad news, just in terms of Hollywood and humanity. Tyler Perry is being accused again um, for sexual assault by an actor in a Medea movie. This is another person. This isn't Tyler's first accusation. Um, and Tyler is defending himself publicly, that there was innocence in everything that was said. And he claims that the accuser is out for a money grab. But either way, even when you're innocent, these accusations don't do a lot of good for you long term or anything like that. And so uh, here's the truth, grace, and victory winning out in whatever direction that goes. Jim Beam, the classic bourbon whiskey, I think. I don't know alcohol. Whiskey, sorry. The classic whiskey is going to be taking a break. And they're halting their production for 1 year because they said that, hey, Miss Skaggs, good morning. It's good to see you. I don't think I saw you in 2025, and that makes me sad. But I hope you're doing good. Um, but Jim Beam says that they're shutting down production temporarily at one of their Kentucky distilleries. Good morning, Christopher. Because they said that with the tariffs and declining demand, they don't need to produce stuff every morning or every year. So Jim Beam will be shutting down their distillery for a whole year because there's more than needed. Happy New Year, Parrish. Good morning, Jarrett. Good morning, Parrish as well. Uh, and Miss Skaggs, we'll have to work that out. We'll have to do that again. But I've been praying for you and your whole family, like always. But thank you. So yeah, that's going down. If I don't know about you, but if you're one of the people that are buying lobster at Costco, you should be cautious. Because you could be the target of crime. A $400,000 shipment of live lobsters heading for Costco warehouses in Illinois was robbed in transit. Like somebody straight pulled a full-blown Mission Impossible highway transit jacking and stole $400,000 worth of live lobster. Um, And so that is, not the not the crime you expect to see per se. And I don't know what you do with $400,000 worth of live lobster in a way that doesn't get you some political or some criminal attention. It's just like you can't just walk down the street and like hustle a lobster. But either way, 400 grand worth of lobster stolen from Costco. There was a train that derailed in Mexico this week, um, that left at least 14 dead and hundreds injured. This is an interoceanic train derailment. This is a train that was built to leave Mexico and provide another route other than using the Panama Canal. It was supposed to be an alternative route to the Panama Canal, and much like you see in One Piece, the place that leads to Enies Lobby, it's that type of train. But at least 14 dead and 100 injured in this oceanic train derailment. And I don't know about you, but the concept of taking a train to cross portions of the ocean is not my favorite idea. And not that any form of transportation is flawless, but that one just kind of seems risky to me. But it is sad that the lives were lost and people were injured. Hope it gets better in terms of the people that are injured and healing. Um, Nicki Minaj has ended a 15-year streak of being on Billboard's Hot 100. She was on Billboard's Hot 100 for 15 years straight, and she remains the only female rapper in history to ever achieve a decade-long run on the Hot 100. So she will go down just in terms of those things of being that, but it has been that. Um, Isaac Northcutt says, "Happy birthday, LeBron." It is LeBron James' birthday. Um, so yeah. Justin Bieber went on to share a little bit about Jesus this week on his Instagram and socials. Um, he was reflecting on the lessons he's learned in faith this year. And one of the big things that he focused on and hit was that Jesus restored his identity and that he is a uh, not a product, that he's a person, that he's not a product, that he's loved, and he knows where his identity is found. If you want to check more about that, you can head over to Justin Bieber's socials to check some of that out. In last week I was able to tell you about, the Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul fight. Sadly, just a couple days after that, Anthony Joshua was in a car accident um, that resulted in the loss of life of two of his personal coaches, and him being injured as well. And that took place just a couple days after the fight with Jake Paul. If you are familiar with One Piece, the live action, the actor who plays Zoro in the live action, Mac Kenyu, uh, attended a One Piece trading card game tournament. If you're not familiar, One Piece has a collectible card game, much like Pokemon or Magic the Gathering, of those things like that. And hey, Brit Stitched, good morning. Uh, but the actor from One Piece entered a One Piece card tournament and he placed eighth out of 366 participants. And I feel like that's a pretty solid win. So, you know, you not only get to be the actor with some main character energy for one of the greatest animes of all time, but you can also hold your own in a trading card tournament, which is pretty good. I can barely beat my friends in a Pokemon battle, so congratulations to that. Toyota is recalling more than 50,000 hybrid cars um, due to a possible loss of driver power. This is specifically for the 2025-2026 Camry hybrid and 2026 Corolla hybrid cars. So if you have those, be cautious. Those are in recall. Gear up to have to fight for your right to party at McDonald's. If you were aware, McDonald's had a really rough Christmas with people being overly grinchy about the Grinch meals, and they're not about to have a better day because coming up, McDonald's is partnering with Pokemon for the 30th anniversary of Pokemon. February through March 2026, there is going to be a whole Pokemon theme at McDonald's, and it will include not only Happy Meals but other collectible items. So, McDonald's employees, gird your loins, say your prayers, and eat your vitamins because you are in for it. And listen, just adults, hear me out. Let kids enjoy things. Don't be such hoarders and selfish people that a kid can't get a Dragonite Happy Meal if they're trying. Okay, hear me out. Let the kids get a Happy Meal. You can get some later. Let the kids have them first. Okay, good talk. Uh, DC Comics officially gave props to AEW wrestler Swerve, as at AEW's event World's End, Swerve came out in a custom Green Lantern outfit and literally looks like he could have been pulled right from a comic book page. So if you're a fan of wrestling, check that out, or of Green Lanterns. Pretty dope outfit. But DC Comics actually liked it, shared it, and did all those things. Brit Stitch says so excited for the Pokemon collab they collect with their kids. And that's the thing. Pokemon coming to McDonald's is originally what got my youngest daughter involved in collecting cards. And she's the only person I have left I'm actually playing Pokemon trading card games with. So, it's good for kids, but also, you know, it lets adults show their true character, and that can be rough sometimes. Also in Star Wars news, I know we started out with Ashley Eckstein, but to let you know that Hayden Christensen, Anakin himself slash Vader, will be coming to GalaxyCon Richmond. Um, Hayden Christensen does not make a ton of con appearances, especially in the South. This will be the closest I think Hayden Christensen has been to our area. And Hayden Christensen will be hitting up GalaxyCon Richmond. Now, when I'm doing a con of GalaxyCon level, I ain't got time to go meet celebrities. I just really don't, unless I've got some crazy solid booth help that can be alone at the booth for hours. Um, and I try not to put that on my kids if they're helping me with it. But Hayden Christensen has a guest package, which gets you an exclusive meet and greet, autographs, first row to all the panels, and all these things. And his exclusive package for Hayden Christensen comes in at a whopping $800. So if you want the creme de la creme of hanging out with Anakin, you're gonna almost drop $1,000 to do it once you add in tickets to get into the show and parking. And you might have to like murder some younglings to be able to pull that off. I don't even know. But that's a crazy number, and I get it. If that's your jam, that's your jam. But ooh wee. I don't know if there's a person breathing that I'm gonna pay $800 to have a VIP experience with. I'll put some thought into that, but I don't think so. But I'm really excited that he's gonna be there. I'm hoping someone will come by. If I know someone that's gonna go meet him, uh Brit Stitch says a premium autograph is 300, so not terrible. Yeah. Um, the most I've personally paid for a photo or an autograph is $100. And I want to say that was for Matt Smith or Peter Capaldi, one or the other, or both. Um, but yeah, I'm also not about that life anymore. There aren't many people I would pay for any kind of experience on that level with. I'm excited for it, and there will be people. So here's the thing: if you are part of this bubble, and I'll see you at the cons too. But if you're at GalaxyCon Richmond and you're going to go see Hayden Christensen, book nine, I think it's book nine. Yeah, book nine has a deep dive Bible study devotional on the entire life of Anakin. If you want to come by the booth and you're going to see Hayden and you would like to give him a copy of that, find me and I'll give you a copy to give Hayden. Um, I don't think that I'm going to magically, start a revival by getting Hayden Christensen a Bible study, but it could be cool. And I've had good experiences with stuff like that, with other celebrities. So here we go. Zootopia 2, and this is a statement I wouldn't have expected. Zootopia 2 is now Disney's highest grossing animated film of all time. which is bonkers to me. Um, it wasn't a bad movie, but I wouldn't have expected it to take the throne. But Zootopia 2 is now the official highest grossing Disney animated film of all time. It has earned 1.46 billion at the global box office, just slightly sweeping the leg on Frozen 2, which stopped at 1.45 billion. Um, so it has officially grossed more than Frozen 2, and it's not technically done yet either. So, congratulations, Zootopia 2. Um, wouldn't have expected it to swing that hard, but it did. Uh, in cool news, Idris Elba is now Sir Idris Elba. The British actor slash rapper slash DJ slash kickboxer slash everything else in the world, Idris Elba, was officially knighted on New Year's Eve, and is now Sir Idris Elba. So put some respect on his name and get ready to watch Luther, the new season when it comes out, um, or the new Luther movie when it comes out. So that's pretty cool. Harrison Ford will also be receiving the SAG After a Lifetime Achievement Award for 2026. I think I mentioned that last week, but can't hurt to say it again. Now, a new bit of news this week that I was actually really excited to see. First of all, the new Knives Out movie, Wake Up Dead Man, I personally love deeply and passionately. Like, there's a good chance that movie has etched its way into my top 10 films of all time. Um, it's definitely in my top films of 2025, faux show and right on, but it may be in my top 10 films of all time now. Um, just because of its deep depiction of what's wrong with the church compared to what's right with the church and the struggle and the battle being within it and everything. It's just there's some really solid stuff in it. Um, all that aside, the opening scene of Knives Out Wake Up Dead Man features Father Judd, who's the uh, underdog troubled priest sitting in front of a church gymnasium window. And it's this iconic shot. It looks really beautiful. There's a lot of great cinematography in Knives Out, Wake Up Dead Man. But a lot of people looked at that window and felt like, I know this. I've seen this before. Where do I know this from? And here's why this is cool. They filmed the opening scene of Wake Up Dead Man at the same church gymnasium that Rick Astley filmed the iconic Never Gonna Give You Up video. Same space, same place, and he filmed it in there. And so if you watch Wake Up Dead Man, you're literally looking at the video for Never Gonna Give You Up, which is even better when you put it in context with the opening scene of Wake Up Dead Man. So if you want that little moment of nugget of joy, there you go. Wake Up Dead Man and Never Gonna Give You Up with a neat little tie-in. And knowing Rian Johnson, that's 100% on purpose. So that's really cool. That's just one of my favorite little bits of news this week. Uh, the Nickelodeon star and former Mighty Duck, uh, Tyler Chase. Sorry, uh, not Mighty Duck star, but Tyler Chase, former Nickelodeon child actor, has been making news for the last couple weeks for his current condition of being homeless and struggling with drugs and addiction. And there's been stuff of people trying to help him online, to get him into the hospital to get medically treated so he can get into rehab. And there's just been an ongoing thing with that. And here's the thing. I understand that people care more about helping this guy because he's a celebrity. This is something people are going through daily, and it isn't entertainment to do this. And some TikTokers and folks are making it entertainment, and I get it. I get the idea. Um, and they're trying to get more people, but they got him into a hospital. They got him treated initially, but he was back out of the hospital, back using it on the streets within a couple days after it. Now, people have enlisted Sean Astin from Lord of the Rings slash Samwise Gamgee slash Goonies, all the things that Sean Astin does, is personally getting involved to try and help him. Uh, Not to Jesus juke super hard with this, but if we only care about this one person being homeless and on drugs because he's a celebrity, what does that say about our hearts, about all the people we just pass by on a daily basis without caring? Just saying, if we try this hard for one, what stops us from trying this hard from others? Now, I personally hope Tyler Chase like finds the help he needs. I hope he gets well soon. I hope that these things happen. There's no reason not to celebrate that or root for that. But what's it say about our hearts when we do it just for the people that we find entertaining? But hope you can be like me and not just be critical and join in and praying for him. And if you feel like supporting, please support. There are ways that you can help him, but it's going to take massive change in his life to be able to do that. So praying for Tyler Chase and grateful for the people who are trying to help. Um, in rock and roll news, Youngblood uh, released a reimagined version of Zombie today, this very day, with Smashing Pumpkins. This also marks the first time in history that the Smashing Pumpkins appear on somebody else's track. Smashing Pumpkins have never been the featured guest on a song before. And so today, Youngblood, Smashing Pumpkins, haven't personally listened to it yet, plan on it after this. Um, I had to get up way too early this morning to be on some rock and roll, but it's on it. Youngblood, Smashing Pumpkins, new mix today. Uh, we officially bid farewell to MTV in 2025. 2025 marked the year that MTV died, and they went out the same way they came in. MTV premiered in 1981 by showing the now classic Buggles song "Video Killed the Radio Star." And as MTV signed off as a network for music television this past on 2025, um, they went out by playing the Buggles "Video Killed the Radio Star." And like for kids of my children's generation and stuff like that, they didn't have TRL and the experience of uh, watching music videos after school and seeing the pop culture of that. And that's something I truly loved. I love music videos. Um, but MTV's dead, and we wave goodbye with a little bit of solemnness. A 150-year-old Dutch church went up in flames on New Year's Eve amid what's being called as an unprecedented act of violence in the Netherlands. And so that went down with that. Uh, yeah, there's a lot of New Year's Eve damage and accidents and stuff this year, more so than I think I've seen in recent years. North Carolina police are celebrating a win in terms of crime operations that they achieved over the Christmas slash New Year's timeframe. Uh, an undercover North Carolina operation called Operation Naughty List, which, by the way, I was really nervous reading this article when I first saw the title of it. Police cracked down on Operation Naughty List. I'm like, this isn't going good places. But the operation entailed um, officers in plain dress clothes pretending to be shoppers hanging around in shopping areas um, to catch theft as it was happening and stop it right there in the stores. This was primarily focused in Gastonia, North Carolina, but the initiative ran from November 28th, which I believe was Black Friday, up until December 19th. 75 individuals were arrested. over the course of that window, and resulted in 154 charges. And what they're estimating is up to millions in dollars uh, in projected loss prevented. So, yeah, there you go. Oh, sorry, thousands of dollars, not millions of dollars. Let me correct that. Um, and this is one of these things that it's a clickbait article headline, but there is some validity to it, but they're definitely framing it to look differently if you're checking this out in most media. But the headline is that Will Smith is being sued by a violinist named Brian King Joseph for sexual harassment. Now, uh, that's the thing, but the complaint slash you know issue isn't against Will Smith personally for doing these things. It's the fact that Smith was the he was performing violin on Will Smith's tour when these things happened, and so that Smith is being held responsible for it from everything that I'm reading. The uh, lawsuit details that a threat of sexual violence was hinted at by the violinist, that a note and bag of products was left in the violinist's room saying, "I'll be back for you later, just the two of us," um, with somebody else's name signed. And so that was something that left him in a place of feeling like he needed to sue, and it's Will Smith's tour. So just to say, yes, that is out there. I'm not defending Will Smith in this, but just to say that this is something that is happening, and people are definitely exploiting the clickbait level of it. JoJo Siwa, Nickelodeon actress slash grown up all the different things since then, has officially changed her name to Joelle Siwa, for entertainment purposes. That might be her government name already, but as an performer, actor slash actress, musician, her name is now Joelle Siwa. And you're right, Miss Skaggs, the whole Will Smith thing was creepy. 40 people are dead and at least 115 people are injured following a New Year's Eve ski resort fire. Um, that a fire broke out at a Swiss ski resort during the early hours of New Year's Day. And lots of people were injured and 40 people dead. One of those people dead is a young professional golfer. I haven't seen all the details with it, but a lot went down with that, and there are details still emerging with that. Uh, Nearly 3,000 pounds of ground beef have been recalled across 6 states due to a potential E. coli outbreak. The meat distributor Mountain West Food Group is recalling 2,855 pounds of raw ground beef. Um, so, if you've bought raw ground beef lately, or you've got something from Mountain West Food Group, please check yourself for health because that's dangerous. Um, in Rwanda, they have shut down 10,000 churches in a recent span of time in Rwanda, and have shut down their congregations. And then they've specifically, as terms of targeting, labeled several of the churches as dens of bandits, in an effort to shut down any influence or sway that these congregations would have. And it's just kind of crazy. First of all, I wouldn't have known there were 10,000 Christian churches in Rwanda to begin with. So there's that. But, you know, government crackdown on churches is a thing that's spreading across different areas all throughout the world. Not so in America, but in that level. But yeah, let's see. Covered that one. Um, a gym in China, like a fitness gym in China, is sparking controversy by issuing a weight loss challenge. This gym in China has officially put out a challenge where you can win a luxury Porsche if you can be the first person to complete their challenge or the best person to complete their challenge. And here's the challenge, though: you have to lose 110 pounds in 3 months. Uh, to apply for the competition, it's a $1,400 application. Uh, and they will begin the competition as soon as they've reached 30 applications. Uh, and the thing is, people are saying that's too much weight to lose too fast, that some people are going to get sick or die in this process. And if you hear me reporting on this in 3 months, um, you'll know why. But they will, for that $1,400, you get room, board, and training facilities for the weight loss. So you actually get a place to live and be housed and everything while you do this training. So $1,400 for 3 months of living in China and the competition thing isn't that bad. So if you're feeling like you can knock that out in 3 months and win yourself a Porsche, there you go. But it's not probably a good life choice. Um, yeah, I don't see that going well. Apple has issued a warning to iPad and iPhone users to update immediately, because they have been hacked, and that your information has been, let's see, they said it's a extremely sophisticated attack, and the risk comes from malicious websites. And so basically, if you've got an Apple product, iPhone, or or iPad, please update your stuff because they don't want you to get robbed. The New York City ball dropped on New Year's Eve as expected, but the ball will drop for the a second time this year for the first time ever where the ball drops twice in 1 year. It will be dropping in July to kick off an anniversary of the 250th anniversary of the country. So the New York ball will drop this summer in July if you want to check that out. Did you? Yep, covered that one. Uh, if you are familiar with the word Chernobyl, you know why. Um, that Chernobyl was a place of a great nuclear accident that cost people's lives and has issued a part of the world to be unlivable and dangerous for years and years and years. There is a $2 billion protective dome that conceals Chernobyl, um, and keeps the radiation uh, from seeping out into the world. A $2 billion dome to keep the radiation. Well, guess what, guys? It's cracked. And so the $2 billion dome keeping the radiation out of Chernobyl is cracked and is now leaking radiation. Um, Scientists and professionals say there's no immediate threat, but we should probably get something done. Here's what I gotta say. If you got a dome that costs $2 billion and it's not working, what are you doing? What are we doing with $2 billion that this thing cracks? But whatever, I get it. It's an unprecedented explosion attack thing. Yeah, but jinkies. Uh, on this note, as I drink my Dunkin' because my daughter wanted something fruity for uh her breakfast. If you've not been aware, or it's just now catching up to you because it's been rolling out at different parts of the world and country, uh, Dunkin' has officially changed their name over the past year or so from Dunkin' Donuts to just Dunkin'. You'll see that the signs at all the places have officially removed the word donut from the restaurant. They've made their signs about half the size, and you won't see donut printed in their name or label. This is something that started late in 2024 and has rolled out across 2025, but it's just like hitting my little town, uh, like nowish. But they've officially dropped the word donuts, and as I was informed by the lady this morning, they no longer make donuts in-house at the majority of their places. Um, so they are focusing specifically on coffee and branding, but that is a shift change that has gone along with where they're heading as a company. So if that surprises you, there's a thing. There is a upcoming Doctor Who audio series that is going to take place between the final two seasons of Peter Capaldi's uh, series, after the Husbands of River Song and before the Doctor Mysterio. But the problem comes in the fact they are going to be replacing Peter Capaldi to play the 12th Doctor in these things. Capaldi has done some of the Big Finish audios before, but will not be returning to do them for this. And so a gentleman named John Colshaw will be showing up to do an impersonation of Peter Capaldi for these audio series, and I'm not a big fan of that. I'm sure he'll do a wonderful job, but there's just something to that. But the series will be called Run Fast, Be Kind, and it will fill in the gaps between Capaldi's final TV seasons. DC Universe Ultra, sorry, DC Universe Infinite Ultra. There are too many words in that title, by the way, y'all. DC Universe Infinite Ultra is launching a thing where now uh, you can read DC Comics digitally 30 days after they release in print. So if you want a digital subscription to comics, you can read all of DC Comics 30 days after they go out. Uh, Stranger Things dropped their finale on New Year's Eve. No spoilers coming from me at this moment. But Stranger Things, their official media account, released a photo of Finn Wolfhard and Millie Bobby Bon Jovi um, with the caption, "We believe." Uh, and so if you've seen the finale, you know what that means. But congratulations to Stranger Things for almost a decade worth of entertainment and storytelling. Pink, the rocking musician, was hospitalized on New Year's Eve with a that where she had to have a neck surgery. And she put in her caption, "Rock and roll is a full contact sport." And if you've not seen clips of Pink's performances over the last decade, she does full-blown acrobatics, stunts, dance, fight scenes, and everything else in her concerts. So her concerts aren't her just standing on a stage; they are her literally putting on a circus. And so her neck was injured in that process, and she is recovering from that neck surgery. Also, in terms of recovery, a Disney World employee is recovering from being run over by the Indiana Jones boulder. If you've grown up in my time period, you know the famous iconic boulder scene from Indiana Jones. Well, at Disney World, the boulder went off course as it was chasing down the Indiana Jones stunt actor, and an employee stopped it, and he got run over and crushed by the 400-pound boulder. The employee is recovering, um, but that dude took one for the team in a serious way to prevent it from getting to the audience. And, good on you. Uh, Post Malone was streaming on Monday when he showed that he is not capable of executing a standing backflip. Post Malone, while on a live stream, uh, was attempting to do a standing backflip from his computer chair. And that went about as exactly as you would think it would. So if you want to see Post Malone horribly attempt to do a standing backflip from his computer chair while on a live stream, you'll find that video. Yeah. A new documentary is coming out called from CNN called I'm Chevy Chase, and you're not focusing on Miss Skaggs says Post Malone as a country singer in Nashville was just uh on on New Year's Eve. Yeah, I feel you. Um, but the new Chevy Chase documentary is coming out and will focus on the downward spiral and downfall of everything. I don't think the whole thing is going to be about the community era, but part of it is going to focus on his crash out from his time on the show Community. If you aren't aware, um, Chevy had used racist language and some phrasing and was recorded in the process, and it was released by his showmates on Community, the things that he was saying, and he lost it, and was mad at them for exposing him and ruining his career. And part of this documentary is going to focus on that. So there's a lot of commentary that's bouncing around between the Community cast where people like Yvette, Nicole Brown are being questioned, and she's not commenting on anything, but it's garnered some attention on stuff that's coming up with that. Uh, actor Hauser, Paul Hauser, who you might know from Cobra Kai or Mole Man and Fantastic Four, who's also done some professional wrestling, is gearing up for a leather strap slap match with Mad Dog Connolly for the Superpower Slam in February. This is a celebrity who just likes being involved in professional wrestling, and that's coming up. So if you care for that, that's about all the news I got. Yeah, that's about all the news I got. So we'll go ahead and jump into our Bible reading as I throw stuff around. Um, yeah, let's jump into our Bible reading and see what we're going to read first. While I'm getting the dice out, just to let you know, I am going to be, or Kelly said, "How's Bubba Sparks?" He was Bubba Sparks, man. It was good to see. Bubba Sparks performed a free concert in Fayetteville, North Carolina on New Year's Eve. Um, but let's see, we're first off, we're gonna see what books we're reading. So we need our deep, or this, we'll use our rock, paper, scissors dice. The fist is Old Testament. The scissors are New Testament, and the paper is the whole Bible. So we're going to roll and see what we're reading out of. We got Old Testament. All right. So that's 39 books. So that means we just need two D20, and we'll subtract one from the outcome, and that will tell us which books we're reading. So let's roll these. We got 18, and we got a nat 20, y'all. Happy New Year. Right there. Nat 20, starting things out. So that gives us the 38th book of the Bible, but we're going to subtract one because we used two dice. That way we could have rolled potentially a one. So that will give us the 37th book of the Bible. And I threw a dice in the wrong place. I'll find it later. All right. So 37th book of the Bible. Let's see what that is. Scoot my mic over there. All right. Shouldn't be too hard to find out. Just got to count back from the end. So Malachi is 39. Zechariah is 38. Haggai is the 37th book of the Bible. Let's check that out. 12, 11. All right. Haggai has two chapters. Just two. Well, in that case, we are going to do a coin flip. If I can pull out my cool coin. I don't know if they're in there. Might be in the big bag. You know what? For ASMR, let's do it. There we go. All right. Let's pick a coin. Still not the coin I want. I'm gonna dump the other dice back out. Here's some more ASMR. You know what? I am totally not seeing the coin I wanted, but I've already dumped two bag of dice out. So here we go. We're gonna use our Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild coin for this. The I will be Haggai chapter 1. The Z will be Haggai chapter 2. Here we go. All right, Haggai chapter 2. And I know I'm changing names, so I'm saying it every time. I don't actually know how it's pronounced. I'm not looking it up at the moment. All right. So Haggai chapter 2. Gonna get our Faith and Fandom devotional journal. Oh, which by the way, just to let y'all know, not that you really care and need to know, but personally I'm reading Second Corinthians right now. So that's I'm doing a chapter of Second Corinthians a day. Um, as we're reading through things. Here's pencil. All right, so got the Faith and Fandom devotional journal. I'm gonna go to the Bible study section. Last week we were in Malachi, so we are in Haggai or whatever it is, chapter 2. The date is 1/2/26. All right, let's read it and get some details. All right. In the second year of King Darius, on the 21st day of the seventh month, the word of the Lord came through the prophet Haggai. Speak to Zerubbabel. I love that name, Zerubbabel. This probably has the plumb line verse. There's one of my favorite verses about small beginnings that might be in this chapter. Um, the Zerubbabel, son of Shealtiel, whatever that word is, governor of Judah, to Joshua, son of Jozdak, the high priest, and to the remnant of the people. Ask them, who of you is left who saw this house in its former glory? How does it look to you now? Does it not seem to you like nothing? But now, but now be strong, Zerubbabel, declares the Lord. Be strong, Joshua, son of Jozdak, the high priest. Be strong, all you people of the land, declares the Lord, and work, for I am with you, declares the Lord Almighty. This is what I covenanted with you. I don't know if I've heard covenant used as a verb before. This is what I covenanted with you when you came out of Egypt, and my spirit remains among you. Do not fear. This is what the Lord Almighty says. In a little while I will once more shake the heavens and the earth, the sea and the dry land. I will shake all the nations, and what is desired by all nations will come, and I will fill this house with glory, says the Lord Almighty. The silver is mine, the gold is mine, declares the Lord, the God. The glory of the present house will be greater than the glory of the former house, says the Lord Almighty, and in this place I will grant peace, declares the Lord Almighty. On the 24th day of the ninth month of the second year of Darius, the word of the Lord came to the prophet Haggai. This is what the Lord Almighty says: Ask the priests what the law says. If someone carries consecrated meat in the fold of their garment, and the fold touches some bread or stew or wine or olive oil or other food, does it become consecrated? The priest answered, No. Then Haggai said, If a person defiled by contact with by a dead body touches one of these things, does it become defiled? Yes, the priest replied, it becomes defiled. Then Haggai said, So it is with this people and this nation in my sight, declares the Lord. Whatever they do and whatever they offer there is defiled. Now give careful thought from this day on. Consider think how things were before one stone was laid and another in the Lord's temple. When when anyone came to heap of 20 measures, there were only 10. When anyone went to a wine vat to draw 50 measures, there were only 20. I struck all the work out of your hands with blight, mildew, and hail, yet you did not return to me, declares the Lord. From this day on, from this 24th day of the ninth month, give careful thought to the day when the foundation of the Lord's temple was laid. Give careful thought. Is there any yet any is there yet any seed left in the barn? Until now, the vine and the fig tree, the pomegranate and the olive tree branch have not borne fruit. From this day on, I will bless you. The word of the Lord came to Haggai a second time on the 24th day. Tell Zerubbabel, governor of Judah, that I am going to shake the heavens and the earth. I will overturn royal thrones and shatter the power of the foreign kingdoms. I will overthrow chariots and their drivers, and horses and their riders will fall, each by the sword of his brother. On that day, declares the Lord, I will take you, my servant Zerubbabel, son of Shealtiel, declares the Lord, and I will make you like a signet ring, for I have chosen you, declares the Lord Almighty. That's a lot. Um, okay, so let's get some information and context. Who wrote it? I'm pretty sure it's Haggai, but doo -doo -doo. Yes, Prophet Haggai. Um, who was it written to? Jerusalem, right? Yeah, to the Jewish returnees from Babylonian exile. Um, those in exile. Why was it written? It was written from what we saw, instructions for moving forward, the temple. When was it written? It was written in 520 BC, and they're in exile. And it said where Darius was governor, governor of Judah. Yeah, so this is in the exile portion for this. I'll put exile for the current context of it. The main passage focus was on, as it listed, um, glory of the new house, um, blessings that were defiled, that God wasn't done with them. I think that was kind of the main focus. Symbolism that was present. He definitely talked about the offerings. So symbolism present. We're talking about um the food offerings and defilement. and the dead bodies. Also talked about the wine vats and the measures of grain. And also symbol and present, he said he called him a signet ring. Verses that stood out. Hmm. The one that was just kind of verse 6, where it was this is what the Lord Almighty says, in a little while I will once more shake the heavens and the earth and the sea and the dry land. Um, just that he's got it in his hands, that he can shake things up as they are. Let's see. Anything else? Say also verse 14, verse 6, verse 14, where he talks about that everything they do is defiled. That's also a good reminder to be cautious of. And also just the verse 23, where he says that I will make you my servant. I will take you, my servant Zerubbabel, son of Shealtiel. I will make you like a signet ring, for I've chosen you, declares the Lord Almighty. The fact that God chose him to be like a signet ring, something that was going to stand out. And I think we all hope to be like main character energy. We all hope to be the one that God chooses, but sometimes we're not. And, you know, if we are, we need to take that seriously. What can I learn from this is that um, God isn't afraid to rebuild. God will shake things up. That He takes the purity of things seriously. And that when He chooses someone, He's bold with it. How can I apply this to my life? Uh, examine what needs to be rebuilt. Um, Also examine what needs to be shaken up, or what examine how sturdy things are. Like what would last if God did shake things up. To I think examine our lives for purity slash defilement. And yeah, I think that's solid. Was anything hard to understand? Um, Names was hard to understand. Um, but also the context of defilement, is something that I think if you're not really familiar with Old Testament law or traditions, that stuff can be really out of there. Pop culture parallel that reflects this passage. Hmm. Things being torn down and rebuilt. I think one thing that would probably, and this is maybe just fresh in my mind, um, would be kind of the tearing down of Avengers Tower and the rebuilding of it in Thunderbolts, because that really is like kind of a rebuilding, re-establishment, even if it's not what people want or expect. Sometimes it's like that. Memeable verse from this passage. I don't know, nothing jumped at me immediately memeable. Um, hmm. Something with the shake the earth thing would probably work. Here's the thing, you don't always have to manufacture something if it doesn't fit. Oh, you know what? Maybe the verse 23, um, about the signet ring, you could easily do kind of a kiss the ring thing from The Godfather or Zootopia. It wouldn't be a good meme, but it's the most memeable verse. Um, what song would be the best soundtrack? I would probably go Build Your Kingdom here and Collective. Rain Collective gets a lot of my soundtrack suggestions, but I like Rain Collective a lot. All right, that's our reading for today. With that, oh, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and pull out my little green notebook to mark down that we read that chapter. Haggai chapter 2. Thank y'all for taking the time to hang out with me and start your new year whenever you listen to this or watch this. Thank y'all for joining me live online. Just to let you know stuff that's coming up. Um, will be, I think the first thing I know of is going to be the CYCC Youth Ministry Conference. Hey, Miss Skaggs, you have a great day too. It's good to see you. The CCYC Youth Ministry Conference that will be in Greensboro, North Carolina. That one is coming up Valentine's Day weekend. So I'll be there for that. There's also Captain's Comics Expo will be the end of February. Um, let y'all know I have a what is it? I have a consult with my spinal surgeon on the 12th of January and kind of see where things go from there. And this is just me purely spitballing and talking out of my ear at the moment. But to say, I think that if I'm moving forward this surgery, I'm going to aim to do it um after GalaxyCon Richmond, which would be like the last week of March. And so I can kind of be healed up by mid-May. Um and kind of full blown again by the summer. It's what my brain is saying. There's no guarantee that it'll play out that way at all, or that the availability will work out or anything like that, because those are all factors. But I'm just trying to keep my eyes, ears, and head up as this process is going, and that to make sure I'm being aware of how things are going. So that's kind of initial thoughts. But that'll all depend on how the console goes to on the 12th. Oh, so let's thank our Patreon supporters. And I by the way, I made pretty good progress this week. Working on bite size, and I'm a third of the way through editing, and hopefully more so by the end of the weekend. I want to take a moment to thank Jessica Luttrell from Cosplay for Christ, Jackie Kraft, Kelly Townsend, Alan Wallace, Fab Quack, Rivka and Tristan Birch, Dorothy Martin Winston, Michelle Stewart, uh, Miss Lynn Turner, David Brooks, Jeff Weimer, Colin Sproles, Jamie Montgomery, the Coleman family, Jonathan Herman, Ron Petit, Gear Saber Cosplay, Scott Ward, Alicia Glenn, Jay Sheed, Jason Crutchfield, Mike Perna, Todd Turner, John Jacobs, Zach Harris, Caleb Grimm, Jeanette Skaggs, Jason Bullock. Miss Jeanette was just on the Instagram feed. Christina Ray, Sarah Lewis, Patrick Gale, Rebecca Godlove, and Adam Davis. Thank you all for being the encouragements that you are, the constant support, and everything else. And I appreciate y'all. And yeah, I just appreciate all y'all do. Thank you for taking the time to listen and support and encourage. And I hope to see you all at a con real soon. Bye.